Ready for a deep dive, and I mean deep.
Into a book that needs no introduction, right?
You've probably heard of it, maybe even skimmed a passage or two. But trust me, the Bible, it's got layers, hidden depths, surprising twists.
It's a book that's shaped civilizations. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't understand Western literature, art, music without bumping into the Bible's influence
well,
everywhere.
exactly. And that's why we're here, folks, unpacking those hidden depths, those aha moments. But before we get ahead of
We
ourselves,
should probably start with the basics.
what do we even mean by the Bible? Because guess what? It's not just one book, it's a whole library crammed between those covers. We're talking 66 books, give or take.
66 books written over 1,500 years. Imagine, that's longer than the time between us and the fall of the Roman Empire.
Wow, 1,500 years. Okay, so not a quick weekend read then.
Not unless you're some kind of speed-reading superhero. But that's what makes it so fascinating. We've got history, poetry, law, prophecy.
Prophecy, so like future telling.
Well, it's a bit more nuanced than that. But yeah, there's an element of predicting, or some would say revealing the future woven into the narrative.
Okay, hold up. Narrative. You're making it sound like one big story.
That's because it is. Think of it like a tapestry woven over centuries. You've got kings and shepherds and prophets all adding their threads to this grand, overarching story. And that story unfolds in two parts.
The Old Testament and the New Testament, right? Like the ultimate prequel-sequel situation.
Exactly. The Old Testament sets the stage. Creation, the Israelites, the law. It lays the groundwork for.
The arrival of Jesus in the New Testament.
You got it?
Okay, that makes sense. Two testaments, two parts of one big story. But you know the word testament itself.
It's got layers.
Right. It's not just about parts of a book. It also means something else.
Exactly. It can also mean covenant, a binding agreement.
Yeah.
So you're not just reading stories, you're delving into these profound agreements between God and humanity.
Deep stuff. But let's bring it back to the narrative, that big story we talked about. What's it all about? What's the message at the heart of it all?
Well, our source material points to a central theme of God's love for humanity.
And humanity's need for, wait for it, salvation. I feel like I've heard that word before.
And you probably have. It's a concept that was huge EE in the ancient world. The idea that something's gone wrong, that we're in need of rescuing, of being saved.
It's like a universal human longing, right?
Exactly. Many cultures grappled with this. And the Bible enters this conversation, offering its own unique perspective,
A perspective that claims to be divinely inspired, as in God-breathed.
which has made it a source of comfort and guidance for billions.
We even have a scripture reference for this one, folks. Timothy 3.16. Talk about a bold claim.
It's a powerful claim, and for many, it lies at the heart of their faith.
But even if you're not approaching it from a religious perspective,
There's still so much to discover. The Bible is full of these incredible stories, profound wisdom.
it's like this epic saga, right? With heroes and villains and these timeless themes.
Absolutely. And those themes, they resonate across cultures and throughout history. That's what makes the Bible so fascinating to study, even from a purely literary or a historical perspective.
It's like you start to see its fingerprints everywhere,
Right.
right? In art, in literature.
Everywhere. It's woven into the fabric of Western civilization.
Okay, so we've got love, redemption, divine inspiration. How does all of this actually play out in the text itself? Can you give us an example?
Sure. One of the most powerful examples of God's love and forgiveness is the parable of the prodigal son. It's a story about a young man who basically tells his father, "I wish you were dead. Give me my inheritance." He runs off, squanders all his money,
Sounds like my kind of guy. Just kidding.
and eventually he comes crawling back full of shame and regret. But his father, instead of being angry,
He welcomes him with open arms, right?
exactly, it's a beautiful illustration of unconditional love and forgiveness, a powerful reminder that no matter how far we stray,
There's always a path back.
precisely.
I get it. These ancient stories, they still pack a punch. But let's be real for a second. You might be thinking, okay, ancient texts, big ideas, but why does this matter to me? Like in my everyday life, I'm just trying to get through the day, not decode ancient scripture.
And that's a fair point. But here's the thing. Even if you've never opened a Bible in your life,
Its influence is all around us.
exactly, it's woven into our language, our art, our legal system. It's inescapable.
Whoa, okay. You're blowing my mind here. Give me an example. What are some everyday things that have roots in the Bible?
Think about common phrases we use all the time. David and Goliath, an eye for an eye.
Go the extra mile. Wait, is that one from the Bible?
It is. These phrases, they come from biblical stories, but they've become so ingrained in our language.
That we don't even realize where they came from. It's like that moment in The Matrix.
When Neo sees the code.
Exactly. You can't unsee it. Okay, but what about art? I feel like I've seen a Bible scene or two recreated in museums.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Countless works of art have been inspired by the Bible. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling.
That's one big Bible story right there.
Exactly. And it's not just visual art. Music, literature, film. The Bible's influence is everywhere.
It's like this hidden language, the secret code. Okay, but if it's so influential, how do people actually engage with it today? Are we all supposed to become biblical scholars?
Not at all. There are as many ways to engage with the Bible as there are, well, verses in the Bible.
So many ways to approach it. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of book, huh?
Not at all. You've got devotional reading, where it's about personal reflection, connecting with something bigger than yourself.
Finding that inner peace,
Right.
right?
Exactly. But then you've also got people studying it from a purely academic perspective. Historians, archaeologists, literary scholars.
Digging into those ancient texts, trying to understand the context, the history.
Exactly. Trying to piece together the puzzle of how these texts came to be.
So we've got people finding comfort in its words, others debating their meaning, some even using it to understand history itself.
It's a testament to its complexity. There's something for everyone in the Bible.
Which begs the question, why? Why has this collection of ancient texts, out of all the books written back then, why has this one endured? Why is it still so influential?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe it's because it speaks to something deep within us, something universal.
Like what?
A longing for meaning, a search for purpose, the need to believe that there's something more to life than what we see on the surface.
Those big questions, right? Where do we come from? What's the point of it all? Is there something bigger out there?
Exactly. These are questions humans have been grappling with since, well, forever. And the Bible, for all its complexities and contradictions.
It offers answers, or at least a framework for finding them.
Precisely. It provides a narrative, a moral compass, a set of values that have resonated with people for centuries.
It's like this ancient wisdom whispering across time, still relevant, still making us think, still challenging us to be better.
The power of storytelling, it's a powerful thing.
And on that note, folks, we'll leave you to ponder those big questions. Because one thing's for sure, if a book written thousands of years ago can still spark this much conversation, debate, and inspiration,
Imagine what other hidden depths are out there, just waiting to be discovered.
so keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep into the world around you. And until next time, happy reading.